This DuraMax Texas Grand Prix 2026 Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Welcome one and all to episode 750, if I'm counting right. I took my shoes off, Cody. I needed the extra counting space, but we're at 750 episodes of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast, and I can't think of a better episode to celebrate 750 than COTA, baby. Left and right turns, first road course of the season, and Cody's most confident show of the year.
You know, we've done 749 of these, and this might be the one I'm most excited for, Rod. I gotta be honest. I'm feeling myself this week, hopefully in a good way. We're coming off a great week last week at Atlanta. I love how everything is laid out this week. I love the card this week. I love the options we have out there this week. I love a couple of drivers in particular this week. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. I'm really, really excited. So I love betting on super speedways. I love the drafting track stuff, but to get into the much more predictable stuff and the real meat and bones, I'm excited.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be exciting. We are at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas, the track in Austin, Texas. The stars at night, they're big and bright in Texas, but we won't get to see them because they'll be marching. They'll be racing throughout the day. But again, yeah, this is definitely a break from what we've come to see the first 2 weeks as super speedway racing dominated the first couple of weeks of the season. Now we get into more well, you say predictable, but I still say that there's a little bit of chaos. It lurks around each and every left and right turn. But yeah, this is one that we can actually, maybe predict a little bit better because there's a lot of road course guys in this. Chat is already blowing up, Cody. Chat is already blowing up.
It's beautiful.
Victory lane for life saying 2 is a sneaky play. Book's not respecting him enough. I gave Austin Cindric a look, Cody. I'm not going to lie, but
there's a lot. Honestly, it was so easy to fill the card and hard to not keep putting more bets in the card this week, honestly. And I just added a bonus one, Rod. It's not even going to be on the sheet we put up at the end of the screen right before we started because I just couldn't leave the guy off. A lot of stuff. Chamberlain checking in. Good to see you, Chamberlain. First time I think I've seen you in the chat. He was responding to some earlier comments. He's only led 23 laps here, which is crazy considering SVG. Of course, Rod, that's going to be the big debate. It's been a hot topic in the Discord already this week. Do you bet on SVG? Do you not bet on SVG? We will certainly be talking about that later in the show.
Shakespeare wrote it best when he said, to SVG or not SVG? That is the question, my friends. And I'm sure Hamlet's probably mulling this one over as well. King saying he doesn't think SVG is a slam dunk as someone thinks it is. Hoping the one and done people pick him, though. Nev09 talking about Reddick for the three-peat. Cousin Danny, like the video.
This race last year was part of a three-peat by Christopher Bell, so could be possible. And yeah, Cousin Danny, like the video, folks. That's hey, we appreciate it. It does. We had Slow Roll was asking in the Discord earlier, does it help? All the liking, the commenting, all that stuff. The AI overlords love that stuff, Rod, and the algorithms love it. So it all helps out, and we appreciate it.
Indeed. As JDK saying, don't bet SVG. This is his worst track. Frank the Tank saying 20 inches of snow ain't going to stop me from listening to you guys. Ooh, I love that. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, probably not much else to do other than shovel snow.
I know right now at this point. Well, you have us in the earbuds while you're doing it. Tommy Lipschitz wants to know if that's apple juice.
Yeah. Rod's actually not old enough to drink, despite he sounds very mature, but he's like Connor Zilisch, has to drink apple juice when he celebrates.
Yeah, this is definitely apple juice that comes off of a hop tree. So absolutely love it. All right, we'll get to the rest of the chat in a second, but I want to remind you folks that you need to get the SGPN app. You do. It's next to your phone app, your messaging app, whatever dating app you're using, whether it's Tinder or whatever else it is out there. Right next to that needs to be the SGPN app, because not only can you get this fabulous show and all 749 episodes that precede this one, but you can get every other episode of every other SGPN show out there right now. Do you like Steffi Smalls? Do you like The Big Show? Do you like the Soccer Gambling Podcast? The one in its current iteration? Do you like the MMA, folks? Do you like UFC? If you want UFC picks, there's a UFC channel out there for you. So it's all out there. Go download go download the app. It's free, and you can find it in your app store. Absolutely love it. All right, Cody, like we said, it is COTA. Everybody's going to be weighing in on the side. It's insane. Preston says, got y'all on my phone and the TV because he's committed.
Fucking committed. Yep. Get the iPad pulled up, have the wife put it on hers, and then we're good.
Absolutely love it. But yeah, so anyways, COTA, Cody, there is actually a bunch of news, though, that was coming out over the last couple of hours. This is, I don't know. I thought I saw a couple of news stories.
I think there's one news story, really.
Well, there's one that I wanted to talk about with
to a news story, but
Denny bringing up some stuff about Carson Hocevar's driving style. I thought that would be something that you guys should go take a look at, because that's sparked a little controversy. And I know Twitter's trolling me now, because I get Carson Hocevar rockets up to fourth after a confident Atlanta run, and I'm like, Twitter, shut up. Like, you know better than to compile that from me.
I don't know if you saw the Chili's car. I will, spoiler alert, Carson Hocevar did not make the card this week. But that Chili's car, it's a black car, Rod. Woo, buddy, it's looking good. It's certainly, this also, they always talk about, payback, Savitch, all that stuff. This is the type of track where that could happen. So Hocevar, not much of a road course guy yet. I'm sure when he gets into his, airness, his airness levels as he continues to level up, he'll be much better at them. But you got a break from the Carson Hocevar talk for this week.
Thank God.
Maybe next week. We'll probably be betting. No, we will be betting on him at Las Vegas, though, Rod, for sure.
Yeah. Preston saying my HDS is showing. Yes, my Hocevar derangement syndrome is completely showing. It's the apple juice. Just blame it on the apple juice. But all right, Cody, what was that other addition to the news that you were talking about?
Well, Joe Gibbs Racing has filed a motion for a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction requiring Chris Gabehart cease and desist working or performing any services for Spire, similar to those he provided for JGR, for 18 months following February 9th, 2026. This whole thing, very interesting, very weird. And it came up, I think it was, I don't remember if it was Dale that was talking about it on his podcast or whatever. A lot of times the teams have, do not compete contracts and stuff, which clearly he's already working for them. So that must not have been a contract that was that. So I don't know. This whole thing, we'll see how it shakes out. You'd imagine a settlement, maybe, Rod, but we thought that before and ended up at trial, so we'll see. But this will be interesting because, as this lawsuit progresses, he can keep giving them all the information he has, unless this this temporary restraining order essentially goes through, and a judge says, sit down, you can't talk to the team, you can't have any contact until we figure this out. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting. The next season 2 of NASCAR got here real quick. Season 1, such a hit, they wanted to rush season 2 to get it out for us.
In production, it's like Survivor. They're still filming one season while they're cutting and editing the other season before it. But no, listen, to me, sport it works on a razor thin edge, right? It just there's very little difference between the top tier teams, that any edge that you get from anything is so closely guarded. But Cody, I also believe that stuff gets out, right? These technicians, they see something and they're like, I'm going to go auto reverse this. So how long can you really keep a secret before you have to get your guys back in the garage and say, all right, well, they caught on to us, we've got to push this forward again, or be the team to push it forward again? So, I mean, how much damage is he really doing?
Well, and I think that's why 18 months, quote unquote, a year and a half, is probably so important to JGR, because by the time we get to 18 months, a lot of that stuff's going to be obsolete. They're going to have figured out new and better things at that point, and so it won't matter. So I guess that's probably why they're trying to push that. But yeah, I mean, you have a guy at that level, and it almost sounds to me like it was such a bad ending at Gibbs, and something obviously must have happened. And there's been the rumors that Chris and Ty Gibbs didn't get along, and Chris ended up while they were trying to get him in the playoffs, all that stuff. So was there a big falling out there, and has it turned into fuck you, well fuck you, no fuck you, I'm gonna fuck you harder, and then we're just going back and forth, and now we're in court? I don't know. But yeah, clearly, and I get it. Spire works closely with Hendrick, and Joe Gibbs obviously does not want Hendrick to have their information, because that is valuable to them. So, yeah, I guess it's just mostly, in my non-legal expert opinion, probably a matter of how obvious did he make it of what he stole that he wasn't supposed to steal or isn't allowed to steal, I guess.
Whatever, Joe. All your information's on the dark web anyways, so don't even worry about it. You know what I blame? I blame MTV. Once they stopped showing music videos and started to show nothing but reality shows, this whole world went to hell in a handbasket, and now we're living in the fallout. So thanks, MTV.
It's all MTV's fault. All right, Rod, I think that's all we got for news, really.
Thank God.
I'm too excited. I don't want to wait any longer. Let's get into it.
We've been making Cody wait like I make my kids wait on Christmas. It's like, it's 10 o'clock, whatever. Like, Preston with the quote of the show.
I'm going to fuck you harder, Cody. State of the Union 2026. I mean, really, that's pretty accurate there, too. So it's a blanket statement.
All right. Well, let's get to some COTA talk. That'll
Great way to start the show, Rod.
State of the COTA is coming up after this, but it is a fantastic way to start the show. Even better way to continue the show. But continue the show is to tell you about Kalshi. How about Kalshi? It's a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. Kalshi has a ton of trading options for your favorite sports, and besides sports, they got tons of other markets that include politics, entertainment, health. You can even trade on the weather with Kalshi. You could trade every single thing in the world, up to and including Survivor 50, baby, starts tomorrow night. I've been telling you guys for a long time that Aubrey is going to be the favorite, and she is 71% on the yes for her. But the Riz God himself, Rizzo, R-I-Z-Z-O, he's actually now at 2 cents for the yes. So you could have grabbed him at 1 cent and been a little bit better on the whole thing, but now you have to grab him at 2 cents. And he's been kind of fluctuating between 1 and 3 cents. So if you think Rizzo is going to win season 50, go grab that. Starts tomorrow. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, K-A-L-S-H-I, promo code SGPN. How about Rhythm? It's been on a heater for college and NBA picks. It's super easy to sign up, run predictions off the house model, or make your own end plate with the sliders. If you're looking to go premium, now's a good time. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download Rhythm. Use promo code SGPN25. Tomorrow's a huge day for television, by the way, for me. I get to welcome Scrubs back. I'm super excited about that.
I'm excited about that. That's great. That's coming back.
Yes, that show, I've watched that all the way through at least 4 or 5 times. And then Survivor, baby, that's going to be my television watching that's not sports related for the next 13 weeks. So pumped for television, my friend, but pumped for COTA. And that is where we head to the Circuit of the Americas, Cody. It is the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, a road course. 95 laps we are set for around this 3.410 mile road course for 323.950 miles. F1 uses this. NASCAR uses this. Who does it better, honestly?
I think they both do it great in their own respects, Rod, as we always like to point out and say. NASCAR does drive it's a smaller course, so they changed the course last year, so that's of note at least. I don't know that makes a huge difference. I think you could still use overall work of art. Honestly, I'm even using it for some drivers back to 2021, the only year they came here before the next gen car, just because I think it paints a good picture. But yeah, they use the shorter track. It's still a 2.4 mile course, so pretty good. But yeah, 20 turns. Yeah, it's a good, exciting, fun track.
Indeed, it is. So before you ask, ladies and gentlemen, there is only a 5%? A 5% chance of rain, 7% chance at 8. Then it drops down to 4 and 1. So should be no rain.
We got wet weather tires on road courses, anyways, Rod.
Oh my God! But you remember the one year that we did have the wet weather?
Was that? I was trying to remember. Was that COTA? Where was that? Was it COTA?
Was COTA.
That, yeah,
100%.
Wasn't it Martin Truex almost died, or Kurt Busch, or both of them?
Yeah, it was Truex.
That was crazy. Yeah, got just absolutely destroyed. Crazy. But all right, Rod. There's 37 entries on the entry list for the Cup Series. Your 36 regulars and Jesse Love, the 2025 Xfinity Series champion. We'll go with that, right? Because it was Xfinity at the time. 2025 Xfinity Series champion, defending O'Reilly Series champion, if you will. Jesse Love, he's going to be in the 33 car for RCR, so of course he will make the race. One other thing I want to note here ahead of the weekend. Brad Keselowski is obviously still recovering from that injury. That's been fine for him at Atlanta. It's been fine for him at Daytona. COTA is a different story. Brad already sucks on road courses, which is amazing. After that one, remember back in 2012, him and Ambrose just going at it, trading fucking blood. What a great last 4 laps at Watkins Glen. But nonetheless, he now sucks at road courses. But all of the shifting and the braking and using both legs, probably not going to work well. So Joey Hand is on hand to relieve Brad Keselowski. I would imagine the plan probably is for Brad to run one so he gets the points and immediately get Joey Hand in that car. So a couple of things. If Keselowski doesn't start well, could certainly be a play on DFS, which you could talk about later in the week, because he will be scored that way. Now, if you want to bet on Joey Hand top 10, a.k.a. Brad Keselowski top 10, I don't think the number's big enough. I don't think you put it on either, did you? I should.
No.
Okay. So neither of us have it. You could make a case. He finished 4th at Chicago a couple of years ago in the inaugural race or whatever, so fine. He's a road course ace if you don't know who he is. But books like Caesars will not credit that as a win. We learned that last year. So if for some reason you want to bet on Hand, check with the book when you bet on Keselowski. If knowing that Hand is most likely getting in that car, I just wanted to put that out there in case somebody's like, oh, this is a great idea, right? I like Joey Hand. Maybe he's worth a long shot. Don't bet it on Caesars for sure because they will not pay you. But check with the book on their rules for drivers replacing drivers. We saw the whole deal last year. Zilisch starts the race. Kligerman gets in and wins. Places like Caesars wouldn't honor the Zilisch bets, even though he was scored as the winner because Kligerman got in the car or whatever. So just wanted to put that little note out there.
Yeah, and even still, this is a tough one because as we'll talk about over the course of this episode, these top 10 guys, they're almost pretty much the same guys over and over and over again. There's a real chance that one or two drivers outside of those can jump in, but if Keselowski starts poorly and has a poor qualifying effort, I don't see even Joey Hand being able to climb his way into a top 10. It's just tough with the guys that are already getting better at this track too.
Yeah, betting wise, I think it definitely is a long shot, and they're going to be behind the 8 ball because the driver change takes a minute. You probably go lapped. You get the lap back likely after the first stage, right? And then he can compete. That's why for DFS it might be interesting. Keselowski's likely not going to be high priced. People probably won't be playing him. So if he's starting farther back and has some upside, I could see a top 20 type of finish. But I don't know. It's just wanted it to be out there in case anybody was, looking at it. So always good to see new names in the chat, Rod. Spatty checking in. Good to see you. Any thoughts on McDowell this weekend at COTA? Do we have any thoughts on McDowell, Rod? I had a head-to-head. McDowell and AJ Allmendinger are matched up. McDowell's minus 125. I replaced it with a different head-to-head, so it didn't officially make the card. I don't hate that one. I don't know. McDowell, you can definitely make a case for top 10, but I have a lot of top 10s on my card. There's a lot of top 10s I like this week, but yeah, he should be all right.
So McDowell, okay, just to answer the question in the chat, McDowell, 18th place in average finish here. 18th actually is his average finish, 18.5 in the 4 races at COTA in his career, 13th, 12th, 38th, and 11th. So like Cody said, maybe a fringe top 10 guy, but nothing I'm too excited about.
So previously, before last year at least, we could bet on him top Ford. It was always him and Buscher, but now he's in a Chevy and 0.0000001% chance that he is the top finishing Chevy this week because there's another driver in a Chevy that's I've heard good, maybe not this track, but whatever.
A skosh better. But all right, well then I guess the preliminary talk is over. It is time to give you our picks for this race, given from a tracked and traceable platform of one full week. Cody.
All right, Rod, we're going to start with some head-to-heads. We're going to head over to MGM. You got Tyler Reddick up against William Byron. This is interesting to me because William Byron is minus 130. Tyler Reddick is even money. That's what really intrigued me about this bet. This is about as close of a head-to-head as you could get between two drivers. So getting even money on one side compared to minus 130 on the other side, I like it. I'll bite. Reddick has won the first 2 races of the year. Yes, drafting tracks, but you got that momentum. You got that confidence. I like it. So am going to take him over one William Byron. So if you look, you compare their stats, went over to win the race, wintherace.info, great partner of ours. The driver rating, super close. 123 for Reddick, 120 for Byron. So slightly in Reddick's favor. The average running position, 5.03 for Reddick, 6.56 for Byron. Again, close. A little bit of an edge for Reddick. The true performance ranking, 82.46 for Reddick, 80.59 for Byron. Very close. Slight edge for Reddick. Average start position, second for Tyler Reddick. I think it's starting position important this week. We didn't care the last couple of weeks. Is important this week. 10.25 for Byron. Not as good of a qualifier here. You look at the 4 races in the next gen era. They've split it at 2 and 2. Reddick, 5th, 1st, 5th, and 3rd. So 4 top 5 finishes. Byron, 2nd, 5th, 1st, and 2nd. So 3 of the 4. Pretty good. Reddick has the momentum. And if you look at the true performance rank on all road courses and street courses, Tyler Reddick checks in at 8.89 when he was in the so they actually split it up by car. So 8.89 when he was in the 8311 car, 76.26, 73.84 for Byron. So all the numbers are very, very close. Reddick has just a slight edge in all of them. He's got the momentum coming into it. And you're getting him at even money compared to Byron minus 130. So I'm going to take the Reddick side of things. And then I just saw this one in the chat. Hunter likes Elliott over Larson head-to-head since he hasn't done well here since before the next gen. So when the odds came out, I looked down and I was like, Kyle Larson's 25-1. Oh, my God. This is crazy. Like, I get the SVG thing, but this is the best race car driver in the world, right? Well, not so much at COTA. Kyle Larson's been pretty bad here. And Chase Elliott, shocker, Rod. Stop me if you've heard this before. Consistent. Very, very consistent because that's what he does. 11.0 average finish for Chase Elliott here. 17.6 for Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott, so he did not race in 23 because of his injury. Of course, was it Jordan? Somebody was in that car for him, the IMSA guy. But so they've run 4 times against each other if you go back to the 21 season. And Elliott's 4 for 4 beating Larson at this track. So 11.0 average finish on road courses and road course and street course. I'm just combining everything. So road courses for Elliott, 10.0 here at COTA. For Larson, it's 17.6 everywhere. and 21.0 at COTA. Kyle Larson's average finish at COTA worse than Carson Hocevar, Jensen Button, Noah Gragson, Riley Herbst, and Denny Hamlin. So that's very notable. 4 of his 6 finishes last year were 32nd or worse on road courses. It was a horrible year for Kyle Larson on road courses. Now, I know that our guy Ryan over at iFantasy Race shared, he was running okay until some stuff happened, and these were the things that happened. Yes, but that's Larson getting Larson, really, if you look at it. And when I went over to win the race and looked at, because I was like, okay, finishes aren't there, but what about how they ran? Like top 5, 10 percentage, not even close. Like Elliott just absolutely owns Larson in every category, not even close. Elliott's finishes here, he won here in 21, 4th in 22. He missed the 23 race, of course, 16th in 24, and then 4th place last year. 4th place last year after he got spun out, by the way. And then for Kyle Larson, a 2nd place that first year to Chase Elliott, then 29th, 14th, 17th, and 32nd. So he hasn't finished better than 14th in the entire next-gen era here. As good of a race car driver as he is, this is an easy Chase Elliott for me. You can get that one minus 115 over on Caesars. So Reddick over Byron, even money, MGM. Elliott over Larson, minus 115 on Caesars.
I have got thoughts on William Byron later in the show, so I'll hold those. As far as Elliott over Larson is concerned, I mean, if you look at anything that we look at when we look at the fantasy race, win the race, whatever, like Chase Elliott's name is green all the way around. So there's just no denying how good Chase Elliott is on this track. So I will definitely love that one, especially at minus 115. It is a good bet. All right. I'm going to take Ross Chastain in my head-to-head over, surprise, surprise, Ty Gibbs. You want to talk about a guy, though? Ross Chastain, I know that we talked about somebody being under the 2, Cindric being underrated on this track. Ross Chastain's kind of underrated on this track. Let's take a look at his average finish in the next-gen era on this track. Ross Chastain sits 4th overall in average finish on the heat chart with an average finish of 6th in 4 races on this track. He won in 2022. 4th in 2023 in that hellish just storm of a race, 7th and 12th. So super consistent on this track in his career. That 12th being the worst finish out there, and it was still a pretty decent run for him. As far as Ty Gibbs is concerned, his average finish in 3 races on this track in the next gen era is 15.3, 9th, 3rd, and 34th. Ross Chastain 2 for 3 so far in beating Ty Gibbs on this particular track. But you dig a little deeper, and you go into the iFantasy Race COTA NASCAR Next Gen RPM. This is ranking per metric. Ross Chastain, solid across the board. 3rd in total speed rankings in the Next Gen era. 2nd in driver rating. 4th average finish overall. Ty Gibbs, outside of the top 10 in all 3 of those categories. 12th, 13th, and 12th. Again, when we talk about finishes, that's one thing, but how well are they running? And I know a lot of people look at the finishes and go, oh, yeah, he got a 9th place. He got a 3rd place. Yeah, but those could have very easily been a 34th like it was in 2025 or 2025. Yeah, when he got that finish. So, like I said, to me, I'm looking at all 3 of those factors and kind of weighing it against it. Our friends over at Win the Race is actually giving this at 51.9% for Ross Chastain on this one, and their fair value, fair market value for this is at minus 108. So Ross Chastain to win this at minus 115, 7 points shy of what fair market value should be, but still, I think if this is a coin flip, I'm giving it to the guy who actually has had a little bit of momentum over the last couple races. Yeah, they're super speedway races. Yeah, I get it. But look, Ty Gibbs has just not looked comfortable at all, regardless of what's been going on. I know it's super speedway, but like, honestly, when you look comfortable on a super speedway, I feel like that carries out into the next week for you. Plus, he's got the best road course racer on God's green earth as his teammate. And then he's got another guy.
Connor Zilisch? Is that who you're talking about, Rob?
I knew you were going to bring that up. No, so, that's one of those things. And he admitted to learning from SVG, right? He admitted to picking SVG's brain about road courses. And that's what I love about Ross. He wasn't threatened by SVG. He wasn't mad that they brought him in. He's like, hell, I can learn from this guy to get better on road courses. And so maybe another off season of working with SVG on road courses pays off and gives Ross Chastain another solid finish here. And like I said, any chance I get to fade Ty Gibbs is a good day. So I'm definitely on the Ross Chastain over Ty Gibbs board.
Yeah, I don't really like this one, Rod. I have a soft spot for Chastain here at this track because he did hit the 40-1 for us a couple of years ago when he won this race outright. So I love that. I'm going to make a case here for Ty Gibbs in a few minutes. And I think he's going to be good this week. So I don't know. I the one part I will give you is Gibbs being inconsistent in a general sense, kind of everywhere, but at road courses. So, but I like the upside of Gibbs more. So I'm gonna go against you on this one.
Well, and I will say that as far as overall road courses are concerned, Ross Chastain 14.1 average finish on road courses since 2023. Ty Gibbs 15.1. So it's a full position more. TK bringing up a good point too. He said, good in theory. The only potential issue if Ross stays out to win stage points and get more stage points. Ross tends to farm stage points. But I'll tell you right now, I get it, but I feel like this season, it's not going to be as big of a thing to farm stage points. Because Ross has already got some pretty good finishes overall, but
I think honestly,
you think you're going to flip stages?
I think it'd be more important to stay out and get the stage points because of the playoff reconstruction, right? And how important points are, and how much we're already looking at points. So my comment on this is, I think we have to stop, and if you feel like you have an edge or an advantage somewhere, fine. And really, like long shot stage winner bets are kind of a good idea, maybe. But I think it's really hard because we just don't know how it's going to play out. I think it's extremely hard to predict who's going to do what when it comes to the stages, because it could get to a point where SVG has such a big lead that he just comes in and flips the stage, but still ends up getting up there and winning the stage or whatever. And like that could change the dominoes of how other people make their calls. I don't know. Every time I feel like, oh, this guy's going to stay out, well, he doesn't. And every time I think this guy's not going to stay out, he does. I don't know. I guess for myself, at least, I'm not going to overthink who might do what in the stages, because I think everybody needs points. Everybody's racing for points. So I think it's going to more depend on how your race maybe is going, where you're at, what you can do, what other people do to determine what ends up being the case.
And we also saw SVG last year almost win the stage, even after he pitted to try to flip the stage, and he still drove his way through the pack to get up there. So it's tough. It really is tough to predict who's going to take the points and who's not. So Triumph 9 try saying late to the show, Hammer Suarez top 10 ? A
lot of top 10s on the card, Rod. A lot of top 10s on the card. Suarez did not make the cut, but certainly worth a look. There's we've got to a point where there's a lot of really good road course guys, and Suarez is one of those guys. Suarez has had some great races here. I want to say 24, where he had the best car early on, ended up with some steering issues, kind of salvaged a good day. Over at Spire, we'll see. But I don't know. Just he didn't make the cut.
If this makes up your mind, Triumph, his average finish here is 29.5 with finishes of 24th, 27th, 31st, 36th. I don't know, hammer top 10, maybe lightly tap a top 10 if you really feel like it, but
with the hammer, you could lightly tap with the hammer if you wanted to.
Okay, fine. Hammer it, but hammer it gently because you don't want to oversell this one. All right, we got more bets to get to, but before we do, I want to tell you formally about our friends over at Underdog. Underdog's got you covered for pick'em for almost every single sport out there. Underdog just increased their payouts. 2-pick entries now pay 3.5x, and 3-pick entries now pay 6.5x. You know me, absolutely love my fringe sports. How about the Pro Disc Golf Tour? Missy Gannon hitting the links again this season as the season begins with the Soup Flight OP. I'm going to take her finishing position in the tournament higher than 3.5. She was on fire over the last month and a half or so of the last season with finishes of second, first, sixth, and second. So if she gets back on the podium to start the season, what a great season it's going to be. So give me Missy Gannon higher than a 3.5 place finishing in the opening tourney to start the season. Again, I absolutely love it. Underdogs, if you've got a brand new customer, you get $75 if you play $5 in bonus funds. Sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. Our friends at Novig, we are brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Novig, you're getting the best prices on the planet Earth. How about The AJ Brown, look at this, what I love. Novig's got some fun markets too. AJ Brown's next team. You can say that he stays with the Eagles or retires. There's the yes and the no on that one. The no, by the way, is at plus 192. How about the Patriots? Plus 365 for them. Buffalo plus 1090 if AJ Brown goes to Buffalo. San Francisco plus 2930 to go to San Francisco. Please don't do it, Shanahan. I don't want to see him on that team. Anyways, you can go and get on that as well. Download the Novig app. Get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig promo code SGPN. I was today years old when I figured out that the Pro Disc Golf Tour comes to my city in May. So I may end up being in the gallery checking that out because, I love me some Pro Disc Golf Tour.
That is some exciting news, Rob.
I love the enthusiasm. All right, fine. Cody, since you're enthusiastic about the picks, then get back to them.
Yeah, one thing real quick, Dirty Reg bringing up a good point. I want to get into NASCAR betting, but these last couple weeks is kind of souring me. So we've said before, super speedways are so different. It's the last 2 weeks. There's so much chaos. There's so much craziness. And yes, things can happen this week. Mechanical problems happen. Guys will get dumped. There will be penalties. There will be loose wheels. All these things can happen. You're going to still get screwed on your bet because some little thing happened. It happens. But the extreme chaos of Daytona and Atlanta, you just won't see for these next few weeks, right? And it makes those races fun because a Zane Smith 25-1 can hit as a top forward. Riley Herbst can be within, a couple of cars of winning at 125-1. You're not going to get, well, at least the Riley Herbst part this week. You might get the Zane Smith part. We'll see. But don't let take it light if you need to, right? I'm not trying to pressure you or anything, but give it a chance the next couple of weeks when it's, we get into the quote unquote real betting or the quote unquote real races. A lot of people like to say this is when it gets better. And this is when it gets more fun in a sense of being able to have more real, true action on it, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. And like we said at the beginning of the show, we're getting in the more predictable part of the season where these types of things, one bad push is not going to send you careening into 20 other cars. You may get pushed and you may careen into a couple of cars, but yeah, it's.
If you don't believe me, believe Triumph. He agrees with me. So,
I agree with Triumph as well. So,
all right. Next up, Rod, Chase Briscoe, top 5 plus 400 over on Bet 365. I love Chase Briscoe here. So you just look at COTA in his past. It's not necessarily full of great things, but caveat asterisk to that, it was the 14 SHR cars in their final years. And then it was very early in the season, right? 3rd or 4th race last year with JGR when he didn't know how to drive the cars because they were too good. But what we saw going on down is he got better and better as things went on. So you go back and you look in the 14 car, he almost won at the Indy Road Course in 2022. Him and Hamlin battling there late. And then I think he was actually got to the lead, but had a penalty or whatever it was. 6th place there in 23, a 6th place at Watkins Glen in 24, of a 14th place here last year, which wasn't a horrible finish, but again, still getting used to that car. Then 7th place at Mexico, has a pretty good run. Led some laps at Chicago before a disappointing finish. Then we got to Sonoma. Absolutely blasted the field. Best car out there, best driver out there, no question about it, except for SVG, who was miles ahead of everybody. But he was the next best guy, and amazing, like it clicked. You could see all of it come together. So I like that. He finished 5th place at Watkins Glen. The Roval had a bit of a tough day, fine, whatever. But Watkins Glen, Sonoma, that's what I'm really hanging my hat on, how good he looked at those tracks. And I think that this is an opportunity to get in on a guy at 4-1 that the books aren't quite sure. Like, is he a good road course racer? Is he not? We know how good Chase Briscoe is at everything, right? He's been good at all styles, all tracks. And in the O'Reilly Xfinity Series, he was very good at road courses at the time. Now, we don't always see that success translate in the Cup Series right away, Rod. I know, very foreign concept to a lot of people, but it doesn't always translate. Actually, I can't remember the last time it did translate outside of SVG, but that's okay. But he's many years into it now, gets comfortable, right? Good ride, fast car. I expect Chase Briscoe to be good. The top 5 at 4-1, I think you're getting a great deal there. Chris Buescher, top 10, plus 150. This is probably the best bet of the weekend. This is probably the best you're going to get, best bang for your buck. If you're going to place one bet this weekend, Chris Buescher top 10, this is the bet to place. 7th place finish, an 8th place finish, an 8th place finish, and he had a 21st in 2022, first year of the next gen car, fine. 3rd best average finish on road courses of all drivers. And he's actually behind Joey Hand, who has a 4.0 average finish because of that one Chicago race. And SVG was at 7.6. But Buscher is next at 9.1. He's been top 10 in 17 of the last 21 road course / street course races. 17 of 21. And you're getting him at plus 150 on Bet365. 17 of the last 21 times he's finished inside of the top 10. Chris Buescher is a very good road course racer. 17 of 21 times, and it's plus 150. To me, that's insane. Bonus bet for you, Rod. This will not be on the little picture you get to take at the end, but I couldn't leave Alex Bowman off. We talk him up in the offseason. This is our one and done pick, our preseason picks. This is the track we used Alex Bowman on. He is amazing here. He has been so good. So we're going to take his top 10 at plus 125. I have a lot of top 10s on the card, but I couldn't leave this one off when it was still sitting out there. I was hoping you would play it. You didn't, so I added it as a bonus. 8th place here in 2021, the first year we came here. 2nd place in 2022. That was the Ross Chastain win. It was him, Bowman, Allmendinger, back and forth, trading paint that entire last lap. So exciting. Hit the Chastain 40-1. It was beautiful, great. He finished 2nd. Then in 23, he finished 3rd. In 24, he finished 4th. Last year was 9th, so it got a little hairy, but still inside of the top 10. He's 5 for 5 coming to this track, finishing inside the top 10. Plus 125. 100% of the time he's done it at COTA. You got to play some Alex Bowman this week. Plus 125 for the top 10. That was over on the score. So Briscoe top 5 plus 400, Bet365. Chris Buescher top 10 plus 150 on Bet365. And Bowman top 10 plus 125 over on the score.
Absolutely love all three of these. I really do like the Bowman top 10. I didn't put it on because I had already picked all of my picks before the odds even came out because I knew the drivers that I wanted to target. And I'm very happy that the odds ended up where they did because I was assuming that they were going to be good odds for the drivers that I wanted to pick. And thank God they were because like I said, the last night I was just kind of doing my research and I putting names down because I was like, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then when the odds came out, I was like, oh, thank God, because it sort of justified the picks. I would have changed if they didn't, but I definitely absolutely love yours as well.
145 on DraftKings. I missed that. So there you go.
Better. There it is. 20 points better. 20 cents better. I don't know. You guys, your points and cents. All right. I'm going to bang on the Gilly train. Bang, bang, Gilly gang. Top 10 for Todd Gilliland. 13-1 on DK. Yeah, listen, this is one of those ones where I think a lot of people are a little bit sour on because it's Todd Gilliland and they're like, Todd Gilliland on a road course. Nah, about Todd Gilliland on COTA. He does have 2 top 10 finishes in his 4 starts on this one, including one last year and one in 2023. Now, the other 2, on the other hand, 16th and 26th, but he also won the truck race here in 2021 when it was completely pouring and raining and all that other good stuff out there. So he has a truck win on this track in his career and 2 top 10 finishes in 4 races. So I'm going to take the chance on this one because this is 13-1, right? We talk about not having a lot of long shots that we can lean on, but this is kind of a longer shot that really has a shot at actually getting to the counter, right? And a guy that's done it twice already, including once last year. He was actually looking pretty good over the last couple of weeks, right? There was a point in the race last week at Atlanta that he was a factor, albeit as brief as it was. That 34 car got collected in the nonsense and took it completely out. But that kind of nonsense doesn't necessarily exist anymore. And of the teams that participated in the lawsuit, Cody, they've seemed to be doing pretty well for themselves. And I feel like that might be a little bit of boosting confidence to what they're doing out there.
That was part of the settlement, Rod. They had to be allowed to do good. That's sorry, I forgot to put my tinfoil hat on before I said that.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, but no, I mean, he's definitely in the top of the charts, at least in the top 15 in terms of average finishes at COTA overall. at 15.3 in the 3 races that he's had here. So, you take out guys like Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex that are actually no longer part of the sport anymore. And then he moves up a couple of spots in that to just outside of the top 10. So, I mean, like I said, this is something where I feel like if you're going to throw a dart at a longer shot top 10, this is the safe dart, because outside of that, I mean, Austin Cindric, I talked about him having 2 good finishes at the beginning of the next gen era and then kind of fading off, right? That scares me a little bit. But other than that, all the other guys inside of the top 10 are all guys that you expect to be there. Reddick, Bowman, Byron Chastain, Elliott, Bell, Buscher, Busch, Van Gisbergen, Cindric, Blaney, Gibbs, right? Todd Gilliland sitting there in 13th overall makes me think that there's a huge possibility, and it shouldn't be 13-1, that he does another top 10. This is a mispriced by the books that you got to jump on.
Yeah, I don't mind this one at all. I actually really, really like this play, so I will back you on that. Hunter pointing out Caesars has Buscher top 10 odds better than top Ford odds. So this is a bit interesting of a market, and you can bet it, I guess, whichever way you want. I went with the top 10 because I like the number better, but top Ford, as we saw and as we have seen, you might not have to finish in the top 10 to be the top finishing Ford. So if you possibly want to build in some extra cushion there, now that's not a guarantee. There's some guys who could do it for sure. So it's just a different way to look at that, I guess. So love the Gilliland pick, Rod. I am going to go to your guy. I wore his shirt today just to make sure to bring in the fandom.
Oh, there it is.
Wearing the Ty Gibbs digs today. Ty Gibbs top 10 plus 200 over on Bet365. 12th place at the Roval last year. 33rd at Watkins Glen. Okay. 7th place at Sonoma, though. But Mexico. 11th place finish, yes. But if you remember, he was the only guy that could hang with SVG that day. He was so fast, looked good. I think it was a pit road issue they had. Maybe they got trapped behind a car or something that put him back a little bit. But it was very impressive that day. You could tell it clicked for him. So the 7th place at Sonoma, the 11th place at Mexico, where he was extremely fast. And he has actually, so if you just break down his top 10s at road courses, the number isn't really that outstanding. But if you go to 12, so 11th and 12th place finishes, he's got a bunch. 11 of the last 17, he's been inside of the top 12. So, yes, there's some bad outliers. 33rd place at Watkins Glen, like I mentioned. Some other stuff like that where he just has horrible days. But if he has a pretty good day, he's in the mix within 2 spots of being in the top 10. I think that we're going to see some stuff out of Gibbs this year. I think that it's a rough couple of super speedway weeks. Fine. Let's put that behind us. Now he's got to go for it, right? We got to start making up ground. We're very far down in the points. Let's go get it. What better place than road courses where, by the way, if you're thinking to yourself, an Xfinity Series guy who dominated road courses can come up to the Cup Series level and he's just going to win everything right away. He's going to challenge for the wins. I've been hearing a lot of that this week, Rod. But I was thinking back, who's the last guy that did that? Because Ty Gibbs did the same thing. He obliterated everyone on road courses. We haven't seen it in the Cup Series. Austin Cindric obliterated everyone on road courses, but we haven't seen it in the Cup Series.
AJ Allmendinger.
AJ Allmendinger. And we saw it in the Cup Series, but not in this car because the Xfinity car doesn't translate to the O'Reilly car. Chase Briscoe was pretty good. Now I like him now, but it took some time. So maybe it's going to take some time for these guys as they come. Okay, sorry, off on a different tangent there. But Ty Gibbs, I think we've had the time. And he was really good in Xfinity on road courses. We're seeing that continue to translate here. And then my long shot, you went with a front row guy. I'm going to take a front row guy as well. Zane Smith, top 10, 13-1, just like Gilliland over there. Now, 2 races here. He finished 19th in his first year with Spire in 24, 29th last year. Neither of those are overly impressive. I will give you that. But 17th place at Watkins Glen, 14th place at Chicago last year. Had a 5th place at Watkins Glen in 24. Kind of a crazy race, but got it done. 17th in Chicago, 16th in Sonoma. So kind of hanging around in that 10th to 17th place range quite a bit. But now if you can translate lower series, it means automatic success in the higher series, Rod. The last 5 truck races that he competed in on road courses. 2nd place at Mid-Ohio in 23. 1 here at COTA. 22, he won here again. So he won in the last 2 truck races that he competed in here. 2nd place at Sonoma, 2nd place at Mid-Ohio. One of those Mid-Ohio's was the crazy great finish between him and Kligerman banging doors all the way to the checkered flag, which was great. But been very good here in the Truck Series, right? And those are actually more translatable to this Cup car. And he's had some good spots, and he's built some stuff up, looked good in some points. So, yes, it's a long shot, 13-1. It's not that likely to happen, but he is the type of guy who can get it done. We've seen him get off to a great start to the season. Yes, it's super speedways. You can't translate a lot of that over, but we're sitting good in the points. We're comfortable. Let's go out there and have us a solid day. Knocking on the door of a top 10, I don't think is crazy. Zane Smith, and I thought Bianchi brought up a great point on the teardown this week. A couple of years ago, he was the next thing. He was this big prospect. Where's he going to go? What's his ride going to be? Trackhouse signs him to a multi-year deal. Like, here we go. He's the future. That didn't work out right. He got shuffled out of there before he even got a chance to show him what he had. He has got what we're capable of doing. So give me Zane Smith, top 10, 10-1, and give me Ty Gibbs, top 10 at 2-1. The Gibbs number on 365, the Smith number on DK. DraftKings, FanDuel's not out yet, which is kind of interesting, but DraftKings has some really good top 10 numbers this week.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good for themselves this season, so I'm impressed with DK. The one thing I'll say about Gibbs is he's got Gilliland breathing down his neck now, so I think he needs to step up or step out of that car and let the Harvick kid get a chance to see what he's got to prove to everybody. So, yeah,
Gilliland does look older than Ty, so
1,000%, and probably taller. I will give him that.
Well,
from one short guy to another, I believe me, I know. I've stood next to him. I know exactly how short he is. All right. So I'm going to up your Chris Buescher level 1. I, by the way, had him in the doc before you put your top 10 in there. I had Buescher top 5 before you even had Buescher top 10. So I was confident in Buescher before you were. So Buescher top 5 plus 450 over in Caesars. Cody already read off all the stats for you with that 7th, 8th finish in 2023, 2024, 2025. Really just knocking on the door of a top 5, and plus 450 for him to improve on that is absolutely crazy. And then if you look at, and this is another thing that sort of really solidified the spot, because man, if you're not on Win the Race, guys, I know that we definitely don't plug them nearly enough, and maybe plug them too much for other people who don't like to get plugged, but go to wintherace.info. Ryan and Greg over there doing the Lord's work, putting together all kinds of simulations for you, picking all kinds of crazy stuff that you wouldn't even think of, helping you with your DFS lineups, helping you figure out fair market value for all of the odds that come out. They run 100,000 race simulator and give you the actual how many times a certain driver is finished in a certain position. And it's invaluable. So go over there and get this. Chris Buescher, not the highest. He finished in the top 5, just over a quarter of the 100,000 races that they simulated. But the fair market value is what really catches my eye for this. Plus 278 is what Win the Race has this as. And you're getting it at plus 450 over on Caesars right now. So that is a giant misprice in the Buescher top 5 market. And like Cody said, he's finished within that spot, a couple of spots in every race so far. There's really not much keeping him from a top 5 other than, a couple of crazy instances where he didn't get it done. But if he does get it done this time, plus 450 for it is absolutely crazy given his success at this track. And just, like you said, road courses in general for Chris Buescher, it almost feels like just a no-brainer to take him, right? It's average finish in road and street courses since February 2023, 9.1, behind only Shane van Gisbergen. So, it's something that you really need to take into account. 5 top 5s to SVG's 7. I know it's 5 less races, but still. Chris Buescher, I think, is a solid pick for a top 5, much like your top 10 pick, but at a really, really good price.
Yeah, little mini car lift, if you will. Take the top 10, take the top 5. You can toss in the top 4 if you want to on there for him. I think all those are good bets. Probably not the way outright, just because I think that's a pretty small market this week. But I love Chris Buescher this week, so I'll back you on all that. I'll back you on what you said to Win the Race too. Their data is incredible. It's a lot of great useful data. I try to make my picks on my own ahead of time with a lot of things before I look at the data, and then it's a combination of what do I think, just trying to be as unbiased as I can be, and then hey, Carson Osavar almost hit both weeks last week, Rod. He did hit last week, so I'll take it. But then having the numbers to back it up or make a counter argument to myself and be like, oh, maybe not. I like it. So Caesar checking in. Good to see him from over in the Discord. Time to gamble since I wrecked out of my iRacing league on lap 1. So cash my first bet of the week was Caesar wouldn't make it 3 laps. So
over under 3 laps for Caesar.
That's right. Okay, a little bit of rinse and repeat here, but top manufacturer markets can hit again this week. A little lighter. Zane Smith was huge for us last week. We hit the 25-1 on the top Ford. Worked out. Not as much chaos like we talked about earlier on the road courses, so you don't have that part of it as much in here, but things can happen. We can see some craziness. And Ford in general, a bit of a weaker manufacturer at the road courses. If you look at it, Chris Buescher, clearly the number 1 top guy at Ford, and we respect that. But outside of that, Cindric has his ups, but he's also got his downs. Blaney has his ups. He's also got his downs. As you look down through the Ford ranks, especially without a Michael McDowell anymore, it really is just kind of wide open after that. There's not a guy that you're like, oh, okay, this is the guy, right? So there's that part of it. So we're going to start with Zane Smith once again. We're going to run it back. He's 40-1 on FanDuel this week. That is a huge number. I just made the case for his top 10 and why he's got that upside. Let's say he can sneak into 10th or 11th or 12th, and Buscher does have a problem and isn't able to finish the race. Or maybe he sneaks into 9th and Buscher comes home in 10th and keeps that top 10 streak alive. Or maybe it's 4th and 5th and you really cash everything. Could be any of the above, right? But at 40-1, just like last week, it's worth a shot because if some chaos happens, Ford's already a weak field. I think it could happen. Then in the Toyota market, you're going to take Ty Gibbs at 8-1. Now, Bell is the leader in this. He's the returning winner of this race, so that makes sense. I love Chase Briscoe, which I've already talked about with the top 5. I love Tyler Reddick as well, who I'm going to talk about a little bit. But Gibbs, I think, at 8-1 offers some value. If he can bring the speed he had at Mexico and finish the race like he was unable to do there, he could easily be the 2nd or 3rd best car in this race. I don't think he's going to win because, well, I think there's one guy that's winning this race, Rod. But I think he could be the top Toyota because that guy doesn't drive a Toyota easily at 8-1. So, give me Ty Gibbs, top Toyota at 8-1 on FanDuel, and Zane Smith, top Ford, 40-1 on FanDuel as well.
You mean Keelan Harvick in the top Toyota? They're going to switch at some point. It's going to be like a Freaky Friday situation and they actually look the same. So maybe it's not a Freaky Friday. What is the one where the twins kind of Parent Trap?
Parent Trap,
where they switch. That's what it is. They're going to Parent Trap their way into.
Crazy how both those girls look exactly the same, almost like they're the same person. It's weird.
Lindsay Lohan in the car this weekend. What? As far as Zane Smith, obviously there's a lot of dive bombs in turn 1 that can catch some people sleeping. So I'm with you on that part of it as well. All right. If you're batting 750, right? If you hit 3 out of every 4 pitches that comes across your plate, you are a Hall of Fame batter, my friend. And that puts you in rare air. In fact, it puts you in the rarest of air because nobody's ever done that before. However, if I gave you a driver that has finished inside of the top 3 in 3 out of the 4 next-gen races that we've had on this track, you would say to me, it's a pretty damn good bet for another top 3 finish. And that driver is Christopher Bell. His one blemish in that span was a 2023 finish of 31st overall. But, I mean, there's no denying that Christopher Bell is a road course driver on just about any track that you put him on. Even, my friends, the Roval, where you throw cardboard on the track and make it to where he's out there. So, but Chris Bell, especially on this track, right? This track is basically his playground. He has got 3 top 3 finishes, like I said, out of 4 races on this one. What I love about this the most, though, is that when the race has this exact fair market value for Christopher Bell, which is sitting right around the plus 301 spot for his top 3 odds, the score has him at plus 325. It's just, I understand, right, that NASCAR's got that level of, okay, you can get turned, or okay, you can have a bad pit stop. Okay, right? But when a guy has done this 3 out of 4 times and you're still getting him at almost 4-1 to do it again, right? I mean, 3 out of 4 is not plus money territory. We're talking, this is minus 115 territory, right? This is more than the books should be trying to cover themselves more than they are. So this is a giant misprice, and you need to go hammer this one right now, because I guarantee you it's not going to last too long if the books try to figure out exactly what Christopher Bell's done on this track over the last few seasons. So, yeah, very much a fan of Christopher Bell this week, especially given that his top three is close to or just above 3-1 for it. So, yeah, give me Chris Bell plus 325. Like I said, I don't really need to back it up much more than just saying he's done it 3 out of 4 times. I can't see him not doing it again this week.
Yeah, that's pretty solid numbers that you have there, Rod. So, not going to argue with you too much. Connor Zilisch might finish first, second, and third, so that could be the only issue there. But all right, Rod, I've got something new to try out here. It is time, dun dun, for Cody's car lift. Welcome, friends. If you're on the YouTube, you get a fun little graphic I put together there. So yeah, hey, thanks. All right, car lift time. SVG top 10. Oh, wait a minute, just kidding. Wrong sheet. Sorry. SVG top 10 at minus 9,000. No, okay. Real car lift time. Tyler Reddick. We're going to ride the Tyler Reddick car lift this week. It's going to start with the top 10, minus 120 over on DraftKings. This is an insane, freakishly insane number for him to get a top 10, minus 120. I love this bet, maybe just as much, if not more, than the Chris Buescher top 10, which I told you earlier was the bet to take. Top 5, you can get a plus 275 on bet 365. His top Toyota, you can get a 3-1. So we have the Gibbs Toyota as a little bit of a longer shot and the Reddick Toyota. Now we're covered with 2 of the, really there's 4 guys who are good in the Toyota camp at the Toyotas. You've got 2 of them now. So, and then we're going to take his win number at 14-1. Now, I'm going to tell you that I'm taking his win number at 14-1, but I don't believe that Tyler Reddick will win this week. And we'll cover in a second why I don't believe that. But in case the guy that I'm putting all of my chips into his bucket doesn't win, we have the insurance plays. 14-1, I think, is a great number. But going back on Tyler Reddick, talked about him earlier when we talked about him in that Byron matchup. 123 driver rating, 5.03 average run position, 82.46 true performance from all those are from win the race here. Average start is second. He's been very good. His finishes here in the last 4: 5th, 1st, 5th, and 3rd. 4 for 4 finishing in the top 5, which also means he's 4 for 4 for finishing inside of the top 10. Momentum. We've been told it doesn't matter. It is not true. Momentum absolutely matters. And we've heard it from drivers, former drivers, all of that. Like Triumph says, ride the hot driver right now. Great pick. He is on fire. Dude is living on top of the world. He has nothing to lose. Let it all hang out this weekend. Go have some fun. He's been great here. We saw him be pre-next gen. He vaulted himself to the top of, I'm the best road course guy when he was in the number 8 car for RCR. And then he's translated that pretty well in the 45 car also. So Tyler Reddick, he is this week's car lift. The top 10 at minus 120 is an insane number at DraftKings. That will not be there much longer, if it even still is at this point. Top 5 at plus 275 on bet 365. Top Toyota 3-1. Win the race 14-1.
I love that, and I love your graphic, by the way, too. That was definitely a good catch. Good job, Cody, on your car lift graphic. Yay. Thanks. Welcome back to the graphic. All right. Love it. Love Tyler Reddick. Yeah, it's insane to think that this guy, you give him 2 wins, and now he's coming to one of his best tracks that's out there. It's just, yeah, poor the rest of the field. SVG is going to be scared a little bit. Not much when he sees him too far back.
16-1 still on 365. I don't know how I missed that earlier, but thanks again. Shop around. We've said this the last couple of weeks, but if you're still not sure, whatever, shop around. You get big time different numbers, different places. And that's just another example.
Indeed. All right. So I know we talked a little bit about needing some chaos for some things to happen. And while it's true that there is the dive bombs at turn 1 to kind of collect some folks that get collected, by and large, though, this track, not really prone to a whole lot of chaos. First and foremost, because road courses, for a full course caution, granted, I will say NASCAR seems to throw a lot more full course cautions than all the other races combined, IndyCar and F1. However, we
don't have local cautions, Ron.
Yeah, but still, we need to institute that, right?
Sure.
But yeah, so they've actually, what I've noticed this year, right? They've kind of kept the flags in their pockets, and that's on the lower series especially. But it felt like there was a lot of times where these single car spins that would have instantly, like the people with the finger on the button would just, and yellow is my least favorite color already. but these guys were just throwing their fingers right at the button as soon as a car got squirrely. This year, I don't feel like that's happening. I feel like there's actually a little more thought process to going, and maybe there's a flow chart, right? Maybe there's a flow chart that says, is car spinning? And then it says, yes. Is car hitting other car? No. And don't throw caution.
There is. If you haven't heard the Gluckcast from last week on the teardown feed, Jeff Gluck had on the race director for the Cup Series, and he basically went through the flow chart and went through situations and when he's going to throw cautions and what would force him to throw a caution. But to your point, he basically said, we're going to attempt to not throw cautions unless we need to.
Well, then this works perfectly for this bet. I'm going to take the cautions. They're 4.5 is what they're set at. I'm taking the under. The under 4.5 cautions. This one's at minus 130. I know we don't normally throw out ones that are 120 or above or even closer to 150, but I feel like, a $13 bet to bring back $10 on this one is not that bad of an idea, given that the last couple of races have ended. Last year was actually a 4 caution race. It was 4 cautions for 15 laps in last year's race. And then the race before that, in 2024, there was 2 cautions, and those were the stage cautions. So these guys, granted, in 2023, they went all out with 8 cautions for 17 laps in that one. And then in 2022, the first year of the next gen, they had 9 cautions. So the first 2 years, they couldn't figure it out, right? But the last couple of years, they figured this track out. And they realized we can't go balls out like we did the first couple of times. We have to approach this track with a little less cautions, a little more finesse, right? We can't just go throwing our cars around and wrecking everybody out. So the 2 cautions from 2024, that was just the stage cautions, and everybody else ran green for the longest time. We'll get those 2 built-in cautions. I don't think there'll be 3 more for cause. I really think that we're going to get a nice, cleanish race. We'll have some trouble. Obviously, we're always going to have some trouble. But I think these guys learn to play nicely on this track, a little more nicely than they did at first. And with the race director's improved caution finger, right? They've got it farther away now from the button. They actually have to lunge toward it now instead of just sitting right there with it. So, but yeah, I'm going to take a chance.
The coaches on the sideline, you always see the guy pulling him back on to make sure he's off the field. The caution button guy has that now. There's a guy that's just holding him back until it's actually time to throw the caution.
Love it. Yeah. And I want to see that flow chart too. Like I said, is there spin? Yes. Is there other cars involved? No. Don't throw caution. Yes. Throw caution.
He really did walk through and explain some situations where he was like, this happened and we didn't throw it because of this, but had this part of this happened, and in addition to that, there would have been immediate caution. And we saw that last week, that Larson SVG thing. He goes down, he hits SVG spins to the grass. The second Larson comes back up the track, cautions out immediately. Like, they're making the decisions like that. So I think we are in a part where the referees are going to try and hold the flag in the pocket as long as they can. It's going to lead to less cautions. And if they can get through the chaos of the early starts going through turn 1, it's going to get super spread out in this race. And there's just going to be less room for other cautions to happen. So you'll have your 2 built-in cautions. I don't expect 3 additional cautions to that. So I really love this bet. When you actually had texted me about this bet earlier, and I'm glad you put it on there because I really like it.
Me too. All right. Well, it's down to the outright.
And we do we have a few extra minutes, Rod?
Yeah, I got it all night.
Oh, okay, good. Can we have a Connor Zilisch conversation at this point in time?
All right. So let me play the guy who wants to say that Connor Zilisch is going to come in and do great things for you. Okay. So that way, Cody, you have somebody that you can direct all of that pent up rage toward. Okay. So here's how I'll cue you up. All right. Connor Zilisch, the best road course racer in Xfinity Series history. The dude just annihilated everybody. He's going to come up this time and give SVG all he's got, right? They're teammates. They've worked from the same page. They're going to be 1 and 2, and Connor Zilisch is going to push SVG every lap and every position for the whole race because he is that good, Cody, and he's going to be that good. He may even get his first win this week, Cody.
I've heard that. 6.5 units on him to win outright. I've seen out there. So, if that's your thing, best luck to you. So the odds, SVG is around even money, plus 110 some places. Connor Zilisch is like plus 450. And then you have to go Christopher Bell, William Byron are 10, 11 to 1. I mean, it is a dressed. So the books are basically saying SVG is going to win, will appease you Connor Zilisch lovers, and then nobody else has a chance. I mean, really is how they're looking at it. So here's the thing, right? Connor Zilisch is the next Jeff Gore. Oh my God, he just wrecked 3/4 of the field. Because that's how we've seen it go so far. Now, I'm not going to hold Daytona and Atlanta against him because they're drafting track races, and you can't hold that against him. But we've seen this before where guys, and I've poked jokes at it throughout the entire show, but we've seen before where guys dominate at a lower level big time. Ty Gibbs and Connor Zilisch, I really don't think there is any difference. I think that the difference is we've now seen Ty Gibbs for 3 years be not successful in the Cup Series. And I think we look back on that with 2020 vision and we say, well, he wasn't that good. But no, when he was coming up, he was the next thing. Oh, by the way, he is jumping into Kyle Busch's 18 M&M's car. That's the car he's driving. It was relabeled at 54. He got Kyle Busch's team for Joe Gibbs Racing. One of the best teams, best cars. He's going to come out. He's going to show everybody. We're still waiting to see it. Now, is it going to take Connor Zilisch 3 years? Probably not, because I think Zilisch might be even a step up from that. But we have not seen somebody dominate the Xfinity Series and then move up in this car in particular, or in the last car, really. Now, SVG is the outlier, but as many people will tell you, Rod, SVG did not win this race last year. He wasn't that good here because, well, he was still acclimating to this car. Now, did he win the next 5 in a row? You're fucking sure damn right he did. But he didn't win right away. Yes, the Chicago thing or whatever, but transitioning up from Xfinity to this car, there was a period still where it took him not long, but a short minute. Now, when we come back tomorrow, SVG and Zilisch are both in the O'Reilly race. To me, that is not so this is a very cut and dry. I'm about to give you SVG to win and put 60 million units on it. But in the O'Reilly race tomorrow, I don't know how I'm going to pick an outright between the two of them because I think they will battle to the bitter end. I think it will be close because it is the car there is so much different, and O'Reilly is just different. But this is the Cup Series. This is the big boys. This is the big time. I honestly and truly love Connor Zilisch. I think he's a great prospect, and I think he is going to have a great career. I still believe that about Ty Gibbs, so I will hold on to that hope for a long time for Zilisch. But he's not going to just show up in the top level of stock car racing and go out and kick all these guys' asses. SVG is the one outlier to this because he was a multi-time champion, 80-some wins in a car that was more similar to this. He'd been driving for longer than these guys had done it. All the asterisks, all the things that don't apply to anybody else. Ty Gibbs dominated in Xfinity and didn't translate to Cup right away. Austin Cindric dominated before that. It did not translate right away. Chase Briscoe, 9 wins in a single season, did not translate right away. It actually took him going to a better ride. Zilisch, by the way, not even in a Gibbs car like Gibbs was. I just don't see how race one right here, he's going to hang with SVG. And it's not just, he's not just stepping into the regular Cup Series. 2 road course races, we don't take it that seriously, whatever. We're all pretty good at this now. And SVG is the best we've ever fucking seen. So that leads me, first of all, just to back up on the Zilisch thing. Honestly, I think a top 10 would be a good day for Connor Zilisch. I don't know that a top 10 is a guarantee for Connor Zilisch this week, and I truly, honestly believe that. I think it's not going to be a walk in the park. I think if he's top 10, it'll be a good day. I think if it's top 5, it'll be a very impressive day. I'll be highly impressed, but I don't expect that, even though it's minus 200 for him to finish top 5. What do you, I don't think we've gotten your expectations or thoughts on Zilisch yet. Well, how do you feel about him?
I feel like you're absolutely right. I feel like he will be a contender for a top 10 throughout most of the day. I think he's going to be good enough to jockey for a top 10. Minus 350, though, for a top 10 is just outrageous for Connor Zilisch because there's any number of landmines that can grab.
I wish I could bet the no on that.
Huh?
I wish I could bet the no on, actually, I might be able to on Kalshi, on him to finish top 10 because I would rather have that than the outright on him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just, to me, there are so many different ways. And we saw him last year kind of struggle a little bit as well, get acclimated into these cars on road courses where he was supposed to be good, where he was going down and kicking people's asses in the Xfinity series. He couldn't do that same kind of thing. He didn't. I mean, these guys, it's like going down to single A. And I've watched this as somebody who's worked in both AAA ball and single A ball, right? And then the pros. You get the guys that are coming down on rehab, and they'll come and they'll crush the hell out of everything that these pitchers in the single A throw at them, right? Well, duh. Even double A, right? It's the same type of thing. Yeah, I would hope that, Pablo Sandoval was a good example because I used to watch him come down and just do insane things when he came back down to the single A ball club to rehab, right? And I'm like, well, of course, Pablo Sandoval is going to crush the ball out of this little ballpark of ours. He has to. That's he's a big leaguer. He's going to have to do that. But you put a single A guy or even a double A guy up in the big leagues, it's going to take him a while to acclimate. And I feel like that's where we're at with Connor Zilisch. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be competitive? He'll be good and competitive. And he may even make a bid at the top 10. And like you said, if he bites into the top 5, he's got some very rare air to get into. But if he starts to bite into that top 5, okay. But winning this, it's so tough to call, especially at the odds at this point.
Yeah, the odds are unbettable in my opinion. And if he was 20-1 or something, I'd throw some on there just in case. I remember when Ty Gibbs made his first start in the Cup Series, he was like 40-1. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, we're fucking betting on this shit. Wasn't even close. He didn't even sniff any, but like it's so different. And I know looking back on Ty Gibbs, because we have the last 3 years, it just doesn't feel the same. And I get it, Chamberlain. Like it feels bad to compare them, but you have to wipe away the last 3 years, go back to when he did the same thing in Xfinity in a way 10 times harder field. Guys like Noah Gregson, there was other, like Xfinity was weak as fuck last year. It's weak again this year, but weak as fuck last year. And sure, he wiped the floor with everybody, fine. But we haven't seen that translate to Cup. He finished, he started here, got in a wreck on the first lap, and then had a horrible day, finished in 37th because he only completed, I guess he ended up completing 49 laps, but 37th place finish. Like he went to the Coke 600 and finished 23rd. Well, he's this next level prospect. He's killing everybody on ovals. Well, he didn't translate there. 11th place in Atlanta, fine. We don't have a big lot to look at, right? The last 2 weeks, drafting tracks, okay, fine. I don't see how how is he so different and so special from everything we've seen? Like, when is the last time we saw a rookie come in? It used to be, right? It used to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes up, he wins in his rookie season. Jimmy Johnson wins multiple races. Joey Logano's winning right away. All these guys, you Denny Hamlin's, you come in and right away you're winning. Well, that's not the case anymore. We just don't see it. And we see guys kill everybody at the lower levels. And they don't come in and win right away. They don't come in and super compete right away. And I just don't see it. So I know it's a long time to talk about Zilisch. Sorry for the sidetrack, but it's a big topic. Everywhere I've turned and looked, our Discord in particular, but everywhere, that's the conversation, right? Is, oh, don't give it all to SVG because you got this Connor Zilisch. Like, I just don't see it. And we'll have a recap show on Sunday night or Monday. Hopefully the call-in line will be working. And if I'm wrong, call in and I'll fucking sit here and eat it all day. But I don't think I'm going to have to, and I really believe in that. So, all right, Rod, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm betting SVG. Somebody in the chat just, slow roll, says SVG's up to plus 120 on DraftKings. This is amazing. So a couple of years ago when we had the F1 Gambling Podcast, we'd show up to the show and we would say, okay, Max Verstappen's going to win. Now let's talk about the rest of the field. And you couldn't bet him because it was minus 300. I mean, literally, Rod, that was the conversation we had. Like, okay, congrats to Max Verstappen. I'm winning again this week. Now, who's going to finish second? And actually, the books gave us odds. Who would be the next finisher besides Max Verstappen? Because it was a foregone conclusion the Verstappen was going to win. We are at that point in time with SVG. It's a foregone conclusion. SVG is going to win. Now, it's betting. There is risk involved. Nothing is a guarantee. Yes, so all of that being said, mechanical issues could happen, although it's highly unlikely. Nobody, if he's out there with a perfectly fine car, nobody's going to beat SVG. Nobody's going to touch SVG. Nobody will be within seconds of SVG. I fully believe that. I think getting him a plus 110, plus 120 this week, this is your chance because he's going to kill everybody so bad this week Now, whenever we get to the next road courses, we'll have Sonoma back-to-back with San Diego, and then Watkins Glen a little bit. Actually, Glen might be before that because they moved it around again. Whenever it is, it doesn't matter. He's going to get to the point where he's going to be unbettable because he's going to be minus 200, minus 250, because they're going to learn this week. It's not even close. They are begging you to bet on other people, hanging guys out there at 20 to 1s, at 14 to 1s, 11, 12 to 1 for last year's winner, begging you to bet on somebody else because they know that nobody else has a shot. SVG last year, Roddy's not that good at this track. He hadn't finished figuring it out. But when he figured it out, he has won 5 in a row. He's gone through adversity. There's been times where he's taken the stage points and still come back and win. He's had issues. He's had problems. Some of these road course starts previous to last year were in colleague cars. We know those cars are nowhere near the Trackhouse cars. He is not going to have any problem. He is going to absolutely destroy the field. So I went over to win the race. I sorted things by the number, as you do. So 6 races in the number 88 car that he drove, obviously, before he's now in the 97, of course. 6 races in that car, 5 wins. The one not win was here last year. Okay, fine. He's won 5 in a row, as I mentioned. He has a 2.17 average start and a 1.83 average finish. Insane. He has a 140 driver rating through those races, those 6 races, all last year, by the way. 140 is his driver rating. Second place on that driver rating scale, Tyler Reddick in the number 8 car. So his 1 year at RCR there is 112. Third place, Chase Briscoe at 98.97. 140 to 98.97 driver rating. That's the difference between SVG and the next best guy, really, truly, in Briscoe. His true performance rating, 85.88. Bell is the next best at 76.9. He averages leading 50.17 laps per road course race. Tyler Reddick is next best at 13.7. COTA, he didn't win here, Rod. Okay, but what did the numbers say? He had the best true performance rating according to Win the Race. He was second only to Tyler Reddick in driver rating, 123 to 121. He had the best average running position at 3.92 and the most laps led at 23. Some adversity, some things didn't fall his way. He didn't get it. It was before things clicked. Now, and as Fitted Jones says, he has to make turn 1 3 or 4 times. That is it. If he can get through turn 1, nobody is going to sniff SVG all day long. We are at a point in time. This is like Kyle Busch, pre-NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Kyle Busch would go down to Xfinity Series for the 5 allotted races. He would win all 5 of them. I would max bet him for hundreds of dollars, as much as I could get down, as much as they would let me, at minus 150. And I never blinked once because he cashed it every single race. That's where we're at with SVG. And we're getting it at plus 110, plus 120. It's insane they're even giving us this number. You will not see it again this year. This is your chance to get in on a generational driver who is leaps and bounds and miles away from anybody else in the field. It's SVG week. He's going to murder the entire field this week, and I'm fully invested in him. Plus 110. Probably the biggest outright I've ever placed in my life is going down tomorrow when I get over to the casino, Rod. I am all in on SVG this week. I will live and die by the sword of the Kiwi. Now, I gave you Tyler Reddick in the car lift at 16 to 1, of course, and Chase Briscoe's 25 to 1 on FanDuel. I am going to take both those guys as insurance plays because things can happen, right? It's nice to have big numbers on guys very capable of winning. Briscoe, second best to at Sonoma last year to SVG. Reddick's won here before, been great here. So I think those are good insurance plays to have, but it's all about SVG for me. In the Cup race, O'Reilly might be different. I haven't got that far yet. In the Cup race, all SVG.
And if SVG doesn't win, I'm going to go with William Byron at 13 to 1 on Hard Rock right now. This one, I had it at, I think, 14 to 1 on DK, and that got hammered quickly. People, when I logged back on again, it was a 10 to 1 for Byron on DK. So a lot of people were jumping on that one. But I did find it at 13 to 1 over on Hard Rock. For William Byron, when it comes to this particular track, he's got 3 top 5 finishes in a row. His only finish outside of the top 5, in fact, his average finish is 5. He's third on the list overall between Reddick and Bowman. And then it goes William Byron. His only finish outside of the top 5 was a 12th place in 2022. Since then, 5th, 1st, 2nd overall. And, again, we do fully expect SVG to be SVG on this track and to do SVG things, as does the race simulator for Win the Race. He's far and away the guy with the highest win percentage overall in the 100,000 race simulators. But right behind him is William Byron, who won 13.1% of the races in the simulator. His fair market value for that is plus 665. You're getting it at over twice that. So I 1,000% think that William Byron is an absolute steal here. When you look in terms of the heat chart, as far as the 2025 race was concerned, yeah, SVG was right up there, but William Byron was a 3rd in total speed ranking. He was 1st in green flag speed and 3rd fastest late in a run with that runner-up finish as well. In the loop stats, he was right there with an average driver rating of 119 overall in the race. 3rd overall in that to Kyle Busch, SVG, and then it was him. Christopher Bell was right there afterwards. And then in the ranking per metric, William Byron, 2nd in total speed ranking in the next gen era here, 3rd in driver rating, 3rd in average finish. So telling you right now, like, he is a absolute contender to win. And if something happens, if an act of God keeps SVG out of victory lane, I think William Byron will be in position to make himself a contender at the end. And like I said, this one already got bet down from 14-1 to 10-1 on DK. I mean, I had him at 14-1 earlier in the evening, logged back on to make sure the number was still right. And it was 10-1. I was like, wait a second. I have 14-1 here, and I know I saw 14-1 on DK. Why is it 10-1 all of a sudden? It's because you guys also recognize that William Byron is a good insurance play, just in case something happens to SVG. So yeah, give me William Byron 13-1. You can find that over on what did I get that on? Hard Rock.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's still good to have insurance plays, especially at the great, like, we're getting great numbers on other guys. Now, I don't think it's going to matter because I do think, again, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for listening to my talk. But I don't know. I felt like this has been a hot button topic this week. I wanted to dive deep into it. I've been excited for this show. I feel really good about my takes on this, obviously, as I should. But I feel convicted on these. I think that's how it's going to play out. I hope it plays out that way. But we'll see. I'm very, very excited for this race.
You're just lucky that we're doing this show at night and we can go an hour and a half on SVG.
I know. I know. As we got closer, I was like, can we? Yeah, we got time, right, Rod? It's perfect.
No, we got time. I mean, again, we're not doing this during the time constraints of the 2:00 hour. This is the 5:30 after dark NASCAR. So,
right.
All right. Well, then, speaking of which, get out your pen and paper. Time to go over our picks for this DuraMax Texas Grand Prix from the Circuit of the Americas. I started you off with Ross Chastain. Remember that all the way back a few hours ago? Ross Chastain over Ty Gibbs at -115. I added Todd Gilliland, the Gilly Gang, riding again as a top 10 car at 13-1. Chris Buescher, top 5. Actually put that at +450. I had to change the graphics because Caesars put that up after I'd made the graphics. So Buescher, top 5, +450 or +400, wherever you can find it. I'd still take it down that low. Christopher Bell, top 3, +325. Under 4.5 cautions in this race at -130. And then William Byron to be the winner if SVG does not, for some ungodly reason, at 13-1. Cody gave you Tyler Reddick over William Byron at even money +100. Gave you Chase Elliott over Kyle Larson at -115. Tossed in Chase Briscoe top 5 at 4-1. Buscher top 10 at +150. Bonus Alex Bowman at top 10 +150 as well. Gave you Ty Gibbs top 10 at 2-1. Zane Smith top 10 at 13-1. Taking Smith as a top forward as well at 40-1, and Gibbs as a top Toyota at 8-1. Riding the Reddick car lift, taking his top 10 at -120. Top 5 +275. Top Toyota 3-1. Winner of the race at 14-1. His outrights, Shane van Gisbergen. Get him where you can at plus money. He's got him at +110. We've heard +120 out there. And then if you can find him better than that, more power to you. And then Chase Briscoe at 25-1, just in case, once again, something happens to Chase Briscoe. Welcome, or to Shane van Gisbergen. Welcome to the Shane van Gisbergen show. ladies and gentlemen, we're glad you paid attention to everything SVG related.
Yeah, it's I know it was a lot, but I feel confident. I feel really good this week. Like, we got some pretty good cards. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of good racing action. Yes, we're finally done talking about the Cup Series race, Rod. But tomorrow we're back. O'Reilly and trucks. O'Reilly will be here as well. SVG and Zilisch in that race. My tune on Zilisch, 1,000. It's 100%, 180 turned around. I think he'll very much be in competition to win that race. So that's going to be exciting to talk about. We'll also talk about the trucks. They're at St. Pete, a street course that IndyCar runs at this weekend as well. So looking forward to that. Back on Thursday as well, NASCAR DFS. And we'll slip in a few IndyCar best bets for that St. Pete race as well. IndyCar and NASCAR partnering up the next couple of weeks. They're with the trucks this week at St. Pete. Next week, we get IndyCar at Phoenix at that track with the Cup Series and some of the other series as well. So looking forward to it. Fun week. Rest of the shows. Make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. We appreciate all that stuff. Click the bell so you get alerted when we are live. And follow me, Rod, on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff. See you guys tomorrow.
Yes, follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. You can find everything I'm up to there as well. Hey, thanks everybody for hanging with us in the live right now. I know that there's something else going. We're in direct competition with another show happening right now.
There's no that's like comparing SVG to the rest of the field this week, Rob. There's no competition. One is clearly miles better than the other one. It's not even close.
1,000%. So thank you all for hanging with us over the course of the evening. We'll be back, like Cody said, tomorrow with the the O'Reilly race. Jesus Christ, it's going to take me all season long to get used to it. I'm sorry, kids. All right, never mind. We'll see you tomorrow. We love you all. Join us on our never-ending quest to make NASCAR betting fun again. Let's go racing. Hell yeah. And let it ride.
And as sweet as I've been